Hello everyone, this is Mr. Dennis, and this is a brief support video to help test administrators as well as proctors to administer the high school assessment HSA Government and Biology for the January administration. This brief video will primarily cover the security of the test, the process of the test and what it takes to administer the test, as well as preparation. All right, so let's begin by just to let you know that I did send a Google folder to everyone that has this PowerPoint, as well as the list of test administrators and proctors, their schedule, and the HSA manual for administrators and proctors, the same one for government and one for biology. So let's begin. The HSA itself is administration. It takes approximately, it's going to take approximately 2 to 3 hours. We're going to finish the one test the whole day. We're going to finish that one test. We're not going to have it over 2 days, just this one day. So it is about 3 hours it's going to take. We're going to start at 9 o'clock, and we should end around 12:30, 1 o'clock, no later than 1. The test has 4 sections in it. Each section is 45 minutes, and you can have a break in between if you so choose. If you want to keep on going, that's up to you, but there are breaks provided within this 45-minute period. Test security, it's also important. Please remember that the code, the COMAR, Maryland, the test security section, that's 134.0304, applies to all tests. So once again, the materials that you're going to receive from me that we're going to talk about are considered test secured materials that must be kept secured as a test administrator at all times. It's important also to remember that no staff involved in testing should have any conversations about the test with each other, as well as with students. That is, as far as students' questions, student scores, nothing, they do not talk to them about it. You're only providing direction for them in time. Okay? A breach of test security, test supervision. So, as a test administrator, as a test proctor, we want to make sure that you are focused on the student test, to make sure at all times that you are focused on monitoring students, focused on monitoring via your laptop or monitoring walking around, proctors, however you want to do that. But we want to make sure that reading books and newspapers, explaining questions, coaching students, engaging in the activities, leaving test materials, these are all considered breaches of test security and would have to be reported. Okay, so again, scoring tests, displaying visual aids, causing disruptions, not adhering to a lot of test times. Here again, consider these are breaches of a test. Okay, now the handling test materials, for example, you're going to pick the test materials up from Mr. Dennis and return them to me. These materials cannot be placed in your car and gone for the weekend kind of thing. We want to make sure that that you're sharing and discussing reading passages, test items, students, teachers, test administrators, all this information, verbal conversations, emails, social media, all these considered breaches of test supervision. That was test supervision. Now test irregularities. Okay, so there are times when a test doesn't go the way we always want them to go. So we may have some irregularities at times, and these are some of the irregularities that could happen. Building evacuation and lockdown, failing to follow administrative directions, losing a student's test booklet, or really we don't have that option, but a test tickets, displaying test aids in the environment, failing to provide a student with the documented accommodations and that kind of thing, all considered irregularities that would have to be reported. I'll move past that, as that's not important necessarily. Test security reminders, that is, test examiners are required to read all directions as they are presented in the test exam manual. The test examiners are also provided the appropriate time for students on each section of the test. So you must time them during the test for those students who receive time. Other students may receive untimed if they have special accommodations. For the HSA, we do have seal codes for those teachers who may be who administered the park, Pearson. We didn't have seal codes. Remember, they were just locks. But however, the HSA is required for us to have seal codes in these, and these seal codes are considered secured materials. All right. Student authorization tickets, I'll be giving you test tickets, and that is for students to gain access into the test, and you get seal codes to start the test. Remember, the test environment is very important. To remind that that you're responsible for maintaining a secure testing environment at all times. So we talk about discipline. We'll talk about students in their cell phones or electronic devices and that kind of thing. Let's go on. So the secured documents will be the seal codes, the unused authorization tickets, the used tickets, and any scratch paper students would have they may use to write on. It's considered secured. Non-secure will be your test manual, the unsecured scratch paper, the blank paper, and the pencil. So that's just simple stuff, you know. There are accommodations for students that I will explain to those particular teachers. Some students received untimed, and their times they may be mixed in with a group, and I'll explain that for those teachers that's needed. They get extended time, which is really untimed. Return test materials will be those test tickets, and the scratch paper will be separate. Technology assistance, you'll be able to call me if you need me. I'll be around, as well as Mr. Bravo, to help any issues that happens with our computers, and at times it does happen. Hopefully we won't, but you never know. Test examiners are to make certain all students have successfully submitted their assessment. And I'll show you what that looks like and what that means. Stopping the assessment, you cannot do that. I'm the only person that can stop the test. So there's nothing you have to do to stop the test. Once the students complete their test, it's considered stop for them and stop for you. You just log out. Disruptive students. I believe in zero tolerance when it comes to this disruption. Test examiners may contact the main office, hall, monitors, security, what have you, if students are not adhering to your commands in the classroom. Okay, zero tolerance still with that. Cell phones. Cell phones are prohibited at any test site. Test examiners, please do not bring cell phones to the test site. That's really for students, really. But I know that this for test examiners, you can use yours because I know that's how you contact me, so that's okay. But specifically more for our students. Do not, they cannot bring cell phones to this test site, or they cannot have it during the test. We've had teachers collect student cell phones and place them in some private location. I have no problem with that. Again, as I stated before, it's at your own discretion. It becomes your responsibility. If you take a student's phone and something happens, that becomes the test administrator's issue. However, I'm going to let students know prior to when I make the announcement that they are not to bring any cell phones to their sites. Matter of fact, they shouldn't bring anything, no book bags, no nothing. I'm going to make that known during a day of test. Okay, so here we go. Now, that's pretty much it for our test security. But now we're going to talk about, as a test administrator, how do you administer this test? So you're going to go to this website, pearsonaccessnext.com. Okay, and I happen to have that right here. Just handy. PearsonAccessNext.com. Remember, you're not going to go to, let me minimize this, you're not going to go to the test nav. Okay, that's for the students. The students have the test nav icon they're going to click on, and they're, that's for them. But for our purposes, you're going to go to PearsonAccessNext.com to log in so you can monitor students' tests. Okay, that's what you're going to do as test examiners. Your students will log in using their own logins to the computer they sit at. Once they have logged in, they'll click on that test nav icon I just showed you, the blue and white, and then they'll start those test tickets. All right. So this is how it goes. Students enter the classroom, take a student attendance. Okay. Students sit down at a designated. Doesn't matter where where you place them. Once a student sits down, you can or you can hand them their test ticket at that moment. It's fine by me. Give them their test ticket, have them sit down at the computer, have them log in using their PGCPS information, and then they can and click on that test nav icon. Okay, so that's them. But prior to them coming, you want to set yourself up as a test administrator. So what you do is you go to PearsonAccessNext.com. All right, once you do that, you should receive your Pearson Access Next login information. All test administrators should have received that and been in it already. Once you do that, you click on Start here. This will pop up. You put in your information. It is your PGCPS email is your username, and your password is what you created. Okay, click Start. All right, once you do that, you'll be here at your home screen. Remember, your objective for this is you're going to monitor students' tests. And all the tests are in test sessions that I created. Okay, so we're going to where it says testing in the middle. Hit the drop box down below, hit sessions. Okay, just a side note, what you can do as you listen to the video, you may want to pause it and maybe follow along with me. You know, do it as I do it. So maybe that's a good way of helping you help yourself as you do it along with the video. That's just a side note. All right, so once you hit that test sessions, you're now here at your session screen. If you look to the left-hand side, it does say sessions. Oh, let me backtrack. One thing I want to do is just to be sure, so you know, I want you to go to the top of your menu board where it says Pearson in black, Pearson Access. And we want to be sure that we're at the HSA and not the park, because sometimes it has happened with teachers that they can't find their sessions because they're in the wrong domain. So what we'll do is you'll go here, and there's a little arrow right here at the drop down menu, and you click on that, and you have an option. You have Maryland 2016 year to date, 2015, 16, 16, 17, HSA, and then MSA. If you hit that drop down menu, you also have the park, and that's what usually happens, the park, and these are the dates for the park. So we're not doing the park, we're doing the HSA. So you would click on Maryland, and then you would click on HSA January 2017. And that's where we are. Okay, just to be sure that you're there. That's what you want to make sure you're there. All right, so you hit the sessions menu. You want to find your session. You have two ways to do that. You can either type in your last name and hit search, or you can do what most people do, because sometimes you can't find it that way, depending on the naming convention, how I did it. Hit the drop down menu there, click on a little square box that show all sessions or show all results. And these are the ones I've created for the first day. And as you see it, you'll see it: Banks, DeMichael, Goldberg, Naden. And this was the test one. All right. So I'm gonna use the test one. So you would click on your session with your name on it and the dates. I did it by date, so because you have 2 days to do your 2 days to do the test. 2 different groups, not 2 days. Sorry, two different groups of testing. All right. Click on your name. Click on the box where your name is located. And then now you're going to go to where it says, go to student sessions. That's where that's how you monitor. Right here, the left-hand side, top, click on student sessions. All right, if you go here, it'll be blank. You will not see anything, okay? Because you have to click on your session. Right here on the left-hand side, click on your session, boom, it pops up, okay? Now, you will not see what you're seeing now. You'll see a green button. And the only reason why there is no button there, because I didn't put any students in this session. This is a practice session. It'll just say start sessions, and then you're good to go. You're good to go for your students. Okay, and that's really how you do it. You find your session, you click on start. Students can access using having their ticket information. Once the students are in, you will hand students their seal code, the first seal code for the first session. Okay, the first seal code for the first session. What I'll also do, I'll do it like this so you can see it a little better. Let's do it like this. All right, and I've done it. We have it here this way. We have it this way as well. If you go on that same PowerPoint, you can see it a little better. I just showed you live what it looks like, but these are the same directions that I just showed you in the PowerPoint. So let's go here. So this would happen. So when you have logged into your session, you'll see a start button. It says start right there. You click on start. All right. And Okay, there you go. Click on start. You'll see your students below. And now you remember you have the option. You're going to be looking at student information. There's a way to resume the test. We'll talk about that. Green means that students are active. Okay. Red means they have exited. Okay. And blue means they actually completed it. But let me go back. So if a student has exited a test and it was red, you have a way you can resume it. Okay. And you do that by changing the view. So let me show you. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Right here. So you hit resume like so, or resume upload. You want to hit resume first. Okay. Resume, it'll turn yellow. Right here it says resume. You see it resumed. Active is green. Red is exited, and blue is the students completed it. Okay, so that's if you have resumed. If by some chance you get knocked out. Okay, and that's pretty much it when it comes to watching your students on the test. So please make sure that at all times you are viewing your students' information, ensuring that they are completing their test. It's very important. We want to be sure that student has completed their assessment before they leave the test site. Once your students are completed, please send those students to lunch, because by that time they'll be going to probably the last lunch. So as soon as the students finish your test, send them to the last lunch, and you return your test materials to Mr. Dennis for room F222. All right, thank you very much. If any further questions, please do not hesitate to give me a call. Thank you.